Hey everybody, Jeff aka GCurse here. It's been quite a long time since I've done one of these videos. I hope you're all having a great day. As always, if you like what you're going to be watching today, which I hope you will, because if you're going to be spending all this time, you might as well, stay and be liking it, whatever. Anyway, as always, before I get going, let's get done with all the other stuff. If you like what you're watching, feel free to click on that like button, the subscribe button, and the bell to be alerted when I release new content. I have X/Twitter/whatever the fuck it's going to be called in the next month. You can reach me at GCurseTF, or you can always shoot me an email at gcursetfcollection@gmail.com. All that information will be in the description of this video. So with that out of the way, let's turn this off because I actually have some other stuff I want to show real quick. Okay, there's that. As I like to talk about Transformers, and one of the core Transformers is Soundwave. I have quite a few Soundwave figures. I have two of what I consider to be the very best Soundwave figures. I have the War for Cybertron Siege and the Earthrise Soundwaves. I even have that tall ass motherfucker that feels like total shit from Titan's Return. I have that cheap bastardization of Soundwave from the Reactivate toy line. By the way, where the fuck is that game? Nobody's seen anything. So we have that bastardization of Soundwave. Plus, we have the OG Soundwave, the one that I can't really hate because he was the first. So basically, I have these guys right here, as you can see. How does the Studio Series 83 Voyager Class Bumblebee movie Soundwave rank amongst this pantheon of Soundwave figures that I have? Well, I'll be honest, he's a hell of a lot better than the tall-ass, cheap Titan's Return Soundwave. He's definitely better than that fucking cheap bastardization of Soundwave from the Reactivate line. I'm not going to compare him to G1 because G1 is special, but he just does not really rank up there with War for Cybertron Siege and Earthrise Soundwave. I will be talking about various different things in this review, but before I get to that, here are some commercials from the 1990s. Stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Locked in his mind, the face of a killer.
I'm investigating a homicide.
Child in the night.
That child is my patient.
Tonight at 8 on Channel 11.
We took whole roasted almonds.
Cover them in pure milk chocolate.
And a thin candy shell to get...
Ta-da! New M&M's almond chocolate candies.
The milk chocolate melts in your mouth.
Not in your hand. Sorry, fellas, I'm new here.
When life turns up the
Can
heat,
they start the wedding without me?
This shouldn't take long, honey.
nothing protects you like Degree antiperspirant. It's body heat activated to release extra protection. Degree, your body heat turns it on.
Does it seem like all the travel bargains have passed you by, leaving you with just two choices? One, pay a fortune to go somewhere, or two, stay home. Enter Greyhound. We've cut our fares in half. Plan ahead and you'll get half off every seat on every bus to over 1,700 destinations, coast to coast. So get on the bus and you're rolling. Go Greyhound. Half price.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great day. Today it is actually Easter. It is at 2 p.m. on the 31st of March 2024. And as always, I'm just hoping that y'all are doing good. Basically, as you are aware, I am going to be doing a unboxing and review of the Studio Series. Ooh, let's actually fix that. I did not realize that the image would be that small. It's going to have the background. Okay, there we go. We have the Studio Series. Sorry about that. Studio Series 86 or 83. Oh god, that's why I had to have it so small. The title. There you go. Studio Series 83 Voyager Class Soundwave. Overall, this figure it's nice to look at, but it's once you start having the figure in hand that's when you start to see that it has some problems. And I got a few images here I'd like to show you. So basically here is the front of the image. Hold on. Or front of the figure. Hold on, let's see if I can get this a little bit. There we go. Here's the front. Overall, he looks nice visually. Visually, he looks nice. Like I said, it's once you get the figure in your hand, that's when you start to see there are some flaws. The back looks fucking awesome. There is next to no real backpack there, with the exception of that little part on in the mid point of his back right here. It kind of sticks out a little bit, but other than that, it's actually pretty flat, as you know, in the way of excess pieces that would be hanging off the body. Here is a picture of him from the right. Once again, looks nice. The only thing when it comes to these, it's like when you're looking at the figure, one of the big things is he has these big, I'm not sure what these would be called. They're like, you know, the forearms, I guess you could say. It's really big and bulky. I understand that this is how he looked in the Bumblebee movie. It's so out of place for me though, because as you know, I have several figures and none of them really had this. I don't think any of them had like a big forearm, attachment, like a gauntlet or whatever you want to call it, But you also have, you can see that there is some space on the back to hold his blaster, which I think is the stupidest name ever, plus his cannon. I don't think the cannon has a name for it, but really you could have given him a different name for his blaster, just a generic blaster. Ugh. Why are you doing Soundwave dirty like that? Here is a picture from the right. No, hold on. No, from the left. Sorry, I think it's left. Fuck it, I can't recall. Here he is, another image from the back where he is holding his blaster. And here's a close-up of the blaster. I actually like this blaster. It's nicely detailed. It looks fucking nice. Here you have an up-close picture. I was going to say screen capture. I don't know why. Up-close picture of his face. I actually like the mask that he has on, the head crest, the helmet. It all looks very nice. The mask actually, the little mask part actually has a little bit of, it conveys fear a little bit, It's just not a smooth piece of metal that slides, that's over his mouth like it is in G1. This actually has some texture, and because of that, it makes me feel a little bit scared, to be honest. Okay, here we have the top portion of his cannon. This is where I have some problems. Now, I am not sure if anybody else has this problem. I sent out a question on Facebook. One person responded and said he didn't have any problems with it, but I know you can't really see it. Can't see it on my camera, but the problem is that there is a pretty good slit that runs up and down the middle of the top of the barrel, or top of the cannon, whatever you want to call it. And if you put it up against light, you can actually see right through it. You can see right through to the other side. I'm wondering if that's a QC issue with my figure. It just does not look nice. And the problem is that I originally thought that possibly because there being a slit that runs all the way down, that somehow the cannon possibly could have opened up and there would have been like another weapon or something. But it doesn't. It's just, there's just a slit there, and it looks fucking horrible. No matter how much I try to squeeze the sides together, it's always there. It just looks bad. And once you've seen it, you cannot unsee it. Here we have the front of the cannon. It's done in a blue and silver color. I actually wish that they had like some sort of like missile that could be shot out, but we really don't do projectiles that much anymore in the way for Transformers, basically. Here's the side. Here's another frontal close-up. See, I'm not sure if you can see it, but you can even see a little bit of that slit that runs down the middle of the cannon right there. And like I said, it's just wide enough that if you put it up to the light, you can actually see the light go through it. And it just kind of ruins it for me. Here's another image of Soundwave from the front holding his blaster. From the left holding his blaster, from the right holding his blaster, and there you go. But yeah, overall, he is a very nice figure. It's just that there are some problems with that figure. Now, when it comes to buying this figure, it actually cost, when I bought it on Amazon. I got it new for $42.75. I got this from Caribbean Reef Life, a unique name, but the package came, I think it was in pretty good shape. I can't recall exactly, but anyway. But that is the unveiling of this figure. Up next, when I get back from these commercials, it will be the unboxing, and I'll show you what was exactly in the box. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Mickey Rooney invites you to spend a mini vacation at his Tabas Resort Hotel in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Enjoy indoor and outdoor swimming, bowling on 40 tournament lanes, or playing tennis and 18-hole championship golf. Or drive through Amish country, the Brandywine Valley, or Longwood Gardens. Then back to your comfortable room for a rest, sumptuous gourmet meals, and live entertainment in Mickey's Starlight Nightclub. Mickey Rooney's Tabas Resort Hotel. You'll love everything but leaving. Call 1-800-345-8220 for reservations.
When spills are at their worst, Bounty's at its best. It's the quicker, thicker picker-upper. Bounty is quicker and thicker than any other national two-ply paper towel. When spills are at their worst, Bounty's at its best.
The quicker, thicker picker-upper, Bounty.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the portion of the show where I show everybody what came in the box. Is the unboxing, basically. So let's get to that. So right off the bat, the box, it's your standard generic Studio Series 83 or Studio Series box. It has a nice picture of Soundwave on the front, Studio Series 83, Voyager Class, all that good stuff. On the back, you have his stock photos. You have him in primary and alternate mode, and I'll talk about the alternate mode in the next portion of this video. So here we have, I think this is the right side of the box. Basically, it's the same profile that you saw on the front with the Autobot symbol. I never could understand why they don't have the Decepticon symbol instead of an Autobot. He is a fucking Decepticon. On the other side, Studio Series 83 with a close-up portrait, basically the same pose. And it says he's a Voyager class. Top, Bumblebee movie, or Transformers Bumblebee. Bottom, useless words and bullshit that nobody ever reads. What came in the box? Now, I know you're all saying, what's in the box? And here I am about to tell you what's in the box. Here you have Soundwave. It has his little diorama behind him. You have the white piece of paper that nobody ever gives a flying fuck about. You have the instruction manual underneath that Soundwave. It talks about how to convert him. You have his cannon and his blaster, which is just held to the cardboard via the paper. It's not held via plastic bands or whatever they're called. The figure itself is actually held by the plastic bands, but not the weapons. Now, once he was out of the box, you can get a good image here. Basically, it's the same figure that I just showed. Nothing really new, front and back. But that is it for the unboxing. Overall, it's your typical stuff. Nothing really surprises me anymore. There's nothing added. You don't get a special, like, decoder, map piece to see where he went. You don't get a sticker or a card. You basically get the figure, the accessories, instruction manual, and or the white piece of paper also, and the backdrop. That is it. So when I return, I'll be talking about the converting of this figure, which that portion will not be that long because, spoiler alert, I really couldn't convert it that much. So stay tuned and I'll be right back.
How many combinations?
Fruit flavor combinations in a bag of Skittles.
Yo, check this
Multiply the number of red ones by the inverse ratio of the number of green ones.
How many fruit flavor combinations?
911. What? In here? If you multiply the red ones by the purple ones.
Quantum mathematics.
What? You see, each Skittles color equals a Skittles fruit flavor. How many combinations? In every bag of
Skittles bite-sized candies.
Excellent. Man, you find out for yourself.
It's the rainbow. So what's the answer?
371,292.
I knew that.
Now introducing a dandruff shampoo just for women. Selsun Gold for women. With the #1 doctor-recommended dandruff medicine, plus our new conditioning system. New Selsun Gold for women. Effective on dandruff. Gentle on hair.
How Mr. Sullivan eats a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Oh, since 1932, it's the same thing. Nibble, nibble, nibble. Such a nibbler.
You're next, my dear.
There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
Okay, so we've gone through the introduction, we did the unveiling, I talked about the unboxing. Now it is time for the converting. And overall, I wish I could show some pictures of this figure when it's converted, but I did not convert this figure because I had severe problems attempting to convert it. One of the problems I had was these panels that are on the front and in the back. You're supposed to, hold on, there it goes. You're supposed to have the little panels open, but the problem is when they're open and you're trying to convert this guy, these motherfuckers kept falling off, and they were easier coming off than they were to put back on. And it doesn't matter. Every time I would start I'd get the pieces back on, I'd go to try to convert, finish the converting process of this figure, and he basically would keep popping off. And after a while, my fucking thumbs were hurting trying to get these pieces of shit to hook back up. So after a while, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I am not going to fight it. So I did not convert it. I wish that I could have converted it, but it's not worth putting my thumbs through that kind of fucking torture to try to get these things back on. If we have panels like this, these should be held in with like a pin or something. That way they just don't fucking pop off. That is poor engineering, Hasbro. I expected more from you. But that is it for the converting process of this figure. Like I said, there wasn't going to be that much. Oh well. On to the review after these commercials.
It kills germs just like it always did. It fights plaque and the gum disease gingivitis just like it always did. Now it does one thing it never did. Introducing Cool Mint Listerine. With an exhilarating, cool, minty taste. New Cool Mint Listerine Antiseptic. Works like Listerine, tastes like cool mint.
Locked inside a child's mind.
There's been a homicide. They need a psychologist.
I didn't see anything.
You're gonna find out what he saw.
The face of his father's killer.
I'm investigating a homicide. You may be the people's one link to justice.
JoBeth Williams.
That child is my patient.
And now you're too close.
Tom Skerritt.
The kid wants you.
And I refuse.
Child in the Night.
Tonight at 8 on Channel 11, New York's movie station.
It is now time for the review portion of this video. Basically, I go through the positives, the negatives, and the pet peeves. It's pretty evident what positives and the negatives are. The pet peeves are basically things that kind of bothered me that really did not impact the figure at all. So let's start off with the positives, shall we? So for the positives, we actually have quite a lot of stuff. From a display perspective, this figure looks nice. If you're not playing with this figure and you just have it on the shelf and to look at, which I like to do, this figure looks fucking awesome. The blaster detail is nicely done, or the blaster accessory is nicely detailed. That's what I meant to just say. I showed you some pictures about that during the unveiling portion. I actually like all the detailing that went into this little thing. I wish that they could do this with all weapons, not just studio series, because this thing is fucking nicely detailed. The head sculpt, especially the mask, invokes a sense of fear. It's not your standard G1 fare where it's just a smooth mask. This thing actually has some detailing to it. I know you really can't see it that well, but it actually has a lot of detail to it, which I gotta give them credit for. That looks nice. The detailing on the figure overall is fucking awesome. But then again, this is a studio series figure, so you should be, you should expect some good detailing for a studio series figure. Let's see here. Where am I at? The whites contrast nicely with the other colors, almost to a detriment, though. So, and I'll talk about that in the negatives. The angle width of the cannon is very extensive. Normally, like with G1, you can only get it to like move a little bit, but the cannon on this guy can go pretty high up. I mean, look at that. That is nice, and it can go all the way down like that. So I gotta give them credit for giving this thing such a wide array of motion. Let's see here. This is a nice reimagining of Soundwave. By the way, if anybody asked, yes, he can open up his little door. Here, hold on. Let's see here. Bam. It is actually big enough that I actually have the both the Ravage and the core concept Rumble, I think it is. So I cannot wait to transform them and see what they look like inside this guy. Let's see here. The figure looks bulky, which is nice, but it can also be problematic. Although I never converted this figure because of the issue with the goddamn the panels falling off. I didn't get any pictures, but I was going to say I saw pictures online, and the alt mode looks nice. It's just a shame that I could not get this thing to convert, though. The chest compartment opens. This aspect makes the figure better than the reactivate Soundwave. I think out of all the figures I'm ever going to have of Soundwave, I think that reactivate is going to be the reactivate Soundwave is going to be like the biggest letdown. Okay, now on to the negatives. And the negatives, there's just as many, though. And as I mentioned before, the cannon has a slit that runs down the middle of the top and the bottom of the undercarriage of the cannon. So basically, you put it up to the light, you can see right through it. It's a little bit of a letdown. I expected more, especially from a studio series figure. Even though this figure is bulky and it looks nice, the bulkiness kind of makes it feel a little bit cheap. I hold this, and I can't help but think that that this is something that you're supposed that it was built for a 2-year-old to play with, and not a collector or somebody of older age. It just has that feeling to it, and it's hard to really explain. Once you hold it, you'll understand what I'm trying to say, though. One thing I fucking hate are the hands. The hands are open. The hands are open. I just do not like that. The main reason I do not like open hands are because if you decide to give Soundwave a different weapon, and the grip is a little bit larger, it will actually stretch the hand and make it a little bit wider, which will over time make it impossible for him to hold the default weapons that he came with. The panels come off too easy and are especially difficult to put back on. I'm not even going to try doing it, but these are the panels right here that I'm talking about on the shoulders. They pop off so easy, and then for some reason they're almost impossible to put back on. And when you get them back on, your thumb and forefinger are really just hurting at that point. Let's see here. I did some research about this figure as I was typing out these lists, and come to find out, I didn't realize that he has a gray panel here on the back of his head. I thought it was just for decoration. Come to find out, this guy has light piping, but for some reason, they painted over it. Why? Why are you going to go through the time to do light piping if you're simply going to paint over it? I took the flashlight on my phone, and it does work. The light piping is, I know you can't really see it, but the light piping is there. But it looks fucking horrid now because you got the paint, and then the light piping only works around the perimeter of the paint. It just looks fucking bad. Let's see here. The contrast between the whites and the other colors is almost too potent. Look at this. Look at how brightly the whites stand out. I mean, in a dark room, you can still see this guy slightly because of how potent the whites are. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been white. They could have been, it's okay that they're white, but they should have toned it down a little bit because it is actually pretty jarring, comparing it to the rest. Like the blues, you got a little bit of, I think it's like a goldish color on the shins, the blacks. It's just, you look at this figure, and the first color that your eyes are constantly attracted to are the whites. See here. Due to the alt mode, the pack portion, I don't know why I put down pack portion, the cassette deck is not solid. Now, the back of him, he opens up. Okay, let's see if I can get it to open up. Let's see, how do I do this? Okay, there you go. As you can see, it opens up. It is literally one, you can stick your finger through it, The problem with this is if you have him in his primary mode, and then you look through, and after you eject him, you can still see light shining through. And I'm just not a fan of that. To me, it makes it look cheap. It's the same issue with the Canon. I can look through and see light shining through, and it looks bad. Every other Soundwave figure that I have, I don't recall it having that issue. Especially the Earthrise, and I think the Siege don't have that issue. I never converted Siege, but I converted Earthrise, and I don't recall seeing light. I never converted the Titan's Return. I sure as hell didn't convert that fucking shitty Reactivate figure, and I did not. I converted the G1 figure, but I don't think I saw light through it either. But yeah, this guy, I don't like seeing light in areas that you should not be seeing light. Let's see here. The limbs. I talked to my coworker about this a couple days ago. The limbs. Let's see here. How did I put it? Oh yeah. Normally, when you move a figure's arms or their joints, their limbs, basically, it's pretty effortlessly. It feels like butter. Like going right through butter. This guy, I'm detecting drag when I'm moving his arms or his legs. It's like it doesn't want to constantly move. It constantly jerks a little bit. And to me, I'm not a fan of that. It should be effortlessly. You should not go, constantly. It feels like it's dragging against, your hand is dragging against it. I don't like that feeling at all. Let's see here. Due to the size of the feet, the figure wobbles. This guy has some small feet. And if he's not in exactly the perfect pose, which I'm not sure what the pose is, he will wobble a little bit, and it kind of makes me worry that he is going to fall over. Let's see here. I'll be honest, I just slightly expected more. I just expected more from a Studio Series figure that was released in 2022. I thought this figure came out like 2019, 2020-ish. That would explain some of the flaws, like the painted over light piping and the slit down the cannon and the light shining through in his chest compartment. I expected that from an older figure, not a figure that's less than 2 years old. I think this was released like in June, July of 2022. I can't call exactly when, but about 2 years old at the most. Let's see here. When I did research and I found out about the light piping, I also watched a video, and they talked about how if you're not careful enough, the plastic part that holds the cannon, the plastic part right here, can break off if you try to remove it from the back of the figure, and that's not cool. That's not cool at all. And honestly, I feel that this figure could have just spent a little bit more time in development. The collectors are a patient bunch. Hell, we're still waiting for a Studio Series 86 Swoop, which was just announced when the last figure came out over a year ago, if I remember correctly. Last Dinobot, I should say. we would have been patient. We're patient. We would have waited if Hasbro just took a little bit extra time and fixed some of these problems. Most chiefly, like putting a pin or something through the hinge of the panels. That way they would not pop off when you're trying to convert this figure. Okay, so we went through the negatives. It is now time for the pet peeves. And there's not that many pet peeves. The Decepticon symbol is too small. I always feel that if you're going to, the symbols for both Autobots and Decepticons, they wear their symbols with pride. These things, I'm not saying they should take up the whole body, but it should be a little bit bigger than that little rinky-dink thing. The next thing, I'm not sure what they could call it. Hold on, let me get, where is it? Here it is. I'm not sure what they could call it, but you're telling me that all they could name this thing was a blaster? And honestly, this doesn't even look like a blaster. It looks more like a rifle, like a laser rifle or something. To me, when I hear blaster, I think of like a pistol. Like a little blaster pistol, This is like a rifle. But you're telling me you could not pick a name for that? We got Optimus Prime's ion cannon. We have Megatron's fusion cannon. We have Starscream's null rays. We have the glass gas cannon or whatever it is for cliff jumper, I think. We have different names for some of these weapons. Soundwave isn't just some fringe character that appeared only in like one episode of season 3 of Generation 1. He was there pretty much from the beginning all the way to the very end. You're telling me you could not do this guy proper and give him a fucking name for this weapon? Okay. And then, honestly, this figure just had so much potential. He had so much potential. And I felt that if he just spent a little bit more time in development, he would have been damn near perfect. But those are that's my review, the positives, the negatives, the pet peeves. Stay tuned, and I will be right back with my final thoughts.
Tired of sitting idle? Call now and get on the road to finding that ideal woman. Just call now. It's more than a dating service. It's your chance to put your love life in the fast lane. Adults only, please.
Things were rough before I got laid off, and then, wow. Creditors calling day and night, foreclosure notices on our house. My wife finally stopped the madness.
How?
Called Jacoby and Myers. Instead of losing everything, all we lost were the bill collectors. Our bankruptcy lawyer helped us keep our house, furniture, my tools. The bankruptcy laws aren't just for big corporations.
What's next?
I think we got a shot at getting our credit back.
What's there left to really be said about the Studio Series 83 Voyager Class Soundwave that I haven't really said? There isn't that much left. I laid out all my cards already for everybody to see. Overall, like I said, this figure is nice as a display figure. If you're just going to put it on a shelf to look at it every now and then, it's going to do its job nicely. But it's once you get this figure in your hand and you start interacting with it and you start taking a deep look at it, that's when you start to really see that this figure has, it has some flaws. Is this figure perfect? Fuck no. But then again, I haven't really come across a figure that is perfect. Is this figure better than the Siege and Earthrise counterparts? No, not at all. But it's definitely better than the Titan's Return and that Reactivate fuckfest that we got earlier this year. Is this figure better than G1? I'm not even going to compare this figure to G1 because of the fact that G1 is like in a class by itself. Its limitations really kind of prevents it to be fairly compared against other modern figures. But this, like I said, this figure, it's better than Titan's Return and Reactivate, but it's not up there with Siege and Earthrise. I personally think that if they just took their time, spent like half a year to at least to go over some of these flaws, such as the paneling coming off, the slit in the cannon, although that may just be with my figure, it could just be a QC issue with my figure. or the issue with seeing light through the other side of the back of Soundwave, because you can literally take your hand and do that. You know, I mean, that tells you it's not secure enough. It's not secure enough, and if it's not secured, that means that light can get through. You know, if they just took a little bit of extra time to, you know, address some of these issues, I figured that this figure would have been a lot better than what we got. So for that, like I said, it's a nice display figure, but it's not going to be one that you're going to want to play with all the time, unless you're into, you know, figures that possibly have some flaws, you know. So I'm going to put him on the shelf with my Studio Series, I think it's 38 or whatever, Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie. I'm going to put him on the shelf with that figure, and, you know, they're going to be there for the... And, of course, he fell over because of his feet being so small. He's going to look nice up there with Optimus Prime. I still got to order the concept Megatron. I'm going to probably do that pretty soon. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry about this unboxing review taking so long. I've just been busy, and haven't been feeling that great. But I wanted to get it out. I'm on spring break. I had the energy to get it out, so I figured I might as well do it before I start, you know, not feeling good again. So until next time, my name is Jeff, a.k.a. GCurse, wishing you all a great day. Stay safe, everybody. Peace out.